This month, we're talking about accountability, and I've been procrastinating starting this experiment, which is quite ironic in my opinion. But last month, there were these 20 writing blocks in my calendar, which I put there myself, and I ignored every single one. I didn't miss any of my live streams, I didn't miss my experiment, but any commitment I made to myself, I skipped. Now, I'm the same writer. I'm writing the same book in the same chaotic season, so the difference between those writing sessions, that experiment, those live streams, and those blocks that I just skipped wasn't discipline, it was the system. Last week, I published a whole framework about exactly this, so I'm gonna leave that linked up here for you. And this week, I'm gonna put it to the test on myself for the next 10 days. Now, these 10 days have kept shifting because I've kept procrastinating this, but here we go, we gotta start. I've built this writing system out of the smallest, most borrowed, least impressive methods I know. A promise that's the size of one sentence, a habit stacked on top of brushing my teeth, other people's presence instead of just my own willpower, and a sticker chart, an actual sticker chart on my calendar. My calendar is right back there right now. If this works, I'm gonna finish the stretch of my novel with proof that discipline was never the problem of why I wasn't showing up to write. If it fails, you're gonna watch it fail. That's the deal. We'll see. If I write nothing, I will tell you. And a bit more context. So if you're new here, I'm writing my third manuscript. I'm currently about 70,000 words in the deep middle of Act 2, which is where novels tend to just get put through hellfire and die. My original deadline was for March. I pushed that to June because life was lifing. And now we're in July and the book is not done. Plus, like so many of us, I'm juggling a lot. So whatever system that I had when my writing life was quieter is clearly just not working anymore. And it's time to figure out a new way to do this. Here are the rules. They're quite simple. We've got 10 days ahead of us. I'm gonna have to write one tiny sentence every single day, minimum. That's my promise. And it doesn't matter when I write it. It doesn't matter what state of mind I'm in. As long as I get that word done, that's it. And when I do keep this promise to myself, I get a sticker on my chart. And here's the thing about stickers. I love adding stickers to my chart. It's something I saw V. Schwab do quite a few years ago now, and it's so motivating. So the sticker is the reward for getting one sentence done. It's visible, it's a little bit silly, and it's something I used to do in different stages of my writing life. And there's a version of me, like a part of me that really misses that. I haven't put any stickers on my calendar for the last couple of months, and that's just sad. So I'm gonna have to choose a really nice special sticker set for this. And that's the minimum. But if I do a 25-minute sprint instead, I'm gonna get a star or some sort of fancier sticker. A star earns me a cup of my favorite hot cocoa or a dessert or something sweet, some little tasty treat. And if I get 5 stars across all 10 days, I get to buy a book. So I'm testing rewards. You might notice how easy this seems. 5 out of 10, like a 50% success rate leads to a pretty big reward. I mean, the system expects bad days. It's built for the weeks where everything just goes sideways and blown off course. Because in this season, the season I'm in, something always pushes me off course. And a perfect chart isn't my goal. A thread that survives throughout this storm is my goal. 4 accountability methods are underlying this whole system, this very, very simple system I've designed. The first is tiny commitments, shrinking my demand to the minimum possible so it can survive even my worst days. In my case, it's 1 sentence. The second is habit stacking, everyone's absolutely favorite method of productivity, and it means you attach a new habit to an existing one. And I'm gonna confess, I nearly couldn't test this because the advice assumes that your day has this stable slot that you can stack things onto, and mine doesn't. I sat there trying to find this perfect anchor just to figure it out in my calendar, and the best I could come up with was brushing my teeth. In a season like this, the perfect anchor just doesn't exist. You can't really stack a wobbly thing on top of a wobbly thing. It's just never gonna work. So I ended up choosing brushing my teeth and choosing that with the 1 sentence goal. I'll come in, I'll have my manuscript open from the night before, set myself up for success, and as soon as I've brushed my teeth, come over, read what I last wrote, and wrote one sentence. The third thing I'm testing is body doubling. I'm going to be borrowing someone else's presence when I can't generate my own structure. I'm going to be testing this 4 times. 2 of those sessions are going to be quiet in-person writing sessions with a friend. And then 2 of those sessions will be online with live streams where someone doesn't even know I exist and that I'm writing alongside them, to see how this makes a difference for me. It's the same method on paper, but I suspect the results will be quite different. My third type of body doubling that I'm doing this season is my live streams, where I do these live streams every single Sunday, but I'm not going to count that for the experiment because that's something ongoing, and that's something I've already started, and it's something I already know works. Last but not least, we've got rewards, self-administered rewards, and we've got my calendar chart, we've got the stickers, we've got hot cocoa or a sweet treat, and we've got the book. And I'm calling it now. This is the one method I don't believe in. I think rewarding yourself ends up feeling like negotiating with yourself and trying to bribe yourself to do something that you already want to do. And I tend to push back against that. I already know who has been winning in any negotiation with myself so far. And I just don't think this is going to work. But we will see. And if it works, I'm going to be thrilled because I'm going to have a book. And if it doesn't, I'm going to let you know. Now for my predictions, I think body doubling is going to carry the week. And I think that the session with my friend is going to be much better than writing at home with a stranger on a live stream. But we're going to have to see about that, because I just feel like the pressure you feel from having someone in person watching you work is just much more motivating or encouraging than that from just having someone be there. But we'll see. I think habit stacking is the famous one that's just going to fail me. It's the most recommended method in productivity, and it presumes a stability that my season just doesn't have. I think my tiny commitment is going to feel almost insulting on day 1, but I suspect it's going to be the thing that saves the chain on the worst of the 10 days. And rewards. I already told you what I think about them. I expect I'm going to forget to claim my rewards by like day 3. We'll see. Maybe the stickers will keep me true to it. So here we go. 1 sentence a day, 10 days. Let's find out if I can keep a promise that's this small to myself. A hand in hers. That's the first thing she felt. And that's it. I'm done for today. And I just think this habit stacking thing just doesn't work. But then again, I have days like yesterday where I actually did write. So I have no idea. This is a mess. So I'm not writing right now. I only wrote a couple of sentences this morning, and I only got my little sticker. I didn't get my big sticker for the day, and I'm feeling under the weather. So what I'm doing instead, or what I'm going to be doing, is I'm going to be rearranging these bookshelves, all of this, and the ones over there. Yeah, this is procrastination at its finest. I am aware of that. Being under the weather is a good excuse. So yeah, here we are. Today is a day where I would not have written if it wasn't for the 1 sentence rule. I actually wrote 5 sentences, all of them fragments. I think it's like 12 words. Let me see. Yes, actually, 12 words exactly. So 5 sentences with 12 words. You can see that these are very, very short. But if it wasn't for this being so simple and so small, I wouldn't have done any writing whatsoever today. And then yesterday, I mean, I barely slept the night before. I've been under the weather. And if it wasn't for me having scheduled in a co-working session, I wouldn't have written yesterday. But because I had this co-working session, we went to this cafe. It was quite noisy, so that was quite distracting and everything. And I didn't feel like I sank into flow or anything like that. But I wrote, and we wrote together for like a bit over an hour. And every time I'd feel the urge to like do something else or get distracted, I would turn over and I'd see my friend focused, and I'd say, okay, let's get back into this. And that really helped. I have not habit stacked these last 2 days. I brush my teeth and I get on with doing other things. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. As for rewards, I'm completely forgetting about them. I'm getting my stickers. My stickers are good. But when I get a big sticker, I'm allowed to have either a dessert or like one of my favorite cups of iced cocoa because it's summer and really hot, or something like that, just like a tiny little snack. And I've been forgetting about that. I'm so surprised. I just finished my writing live stream and I loved it. I loved writing with you all again, and I found it so much more productive, and I got so many more words done today at the live stream than I did when writing with an accountability buddy in person. And I was not expecting that, because I was theorizing that writing in person with someone would be much, much more impactful than live streaming online. But I seem to be having the opposite experience so far, and I'm really excited about this. Okay, we'll see how tomorrow goes. Oh, and I did not habit stack again. Not at all. Totally forgot the rewards, forgot everything. But the accountability is working. 10 days, it's done, it's over. When I started, I had 20 out of 20 ignored blocks in June. And now we tested 4 methods, so let's grade them based on each prediction. Prediction number 1, the tiny commitments. I predicted the 1-sentence promise would feel insulting on day 1, and then it would save the chain on the worst days. And you know what? That was true. I got 10 out of 10 days. I kept it 10 times. Some of those days were flare-up days. Some of those days were just really rough days where my whole body and my mind were just screaming no to writing. They were days where the thought of facing a writing block was just too much. But then the sentence happened anyway, because it was such a minor commitment. The only thing that changed for me in making me show up was just how much I was expecting of myself. On day 2, I hadn't even blocked out time to write. I sat down to write my 1 sentence and then fell straight into an hour-long session. The worst days came later, days where I only wrote 10 or 12 words, but they still counted. They were still sentences. Also, this sentence did something else that I didn't expect. It kept the book alive in my head. The story just never went cold. I caught myself putting on my novels playlist while I was driving in the car instead of taking calls or doing something else, just so I could think about the next scenes that I was going to write. So even on days where all I made was 10 words of progress, they had value, they counted. The second method I tried was habit stacking, and I predicted that this famous method would fail me because you can't stack a wobbly thing on top of another wobbly thing. And it did, it failed, but not for the reason that I predicted. The anchor held. I do brush my teeth every morning, but I just hated writing right after that. My mornings are usually the hardest part for me, the hardest part for my body. I live with chronic illnesses, and I have been appreciating taking a moment, a little bit of time to let my body and mind cooperate. And that's why my mornings start with my slow growth hour. They start slow whenever I'm able to. So yeah, hindsight is always 20/20. What did I expect would happen if I bolted my most demanding creative work onto the exact hour that my body could least afford it? I mean, I should have known better. By day 4, I stopped doing this. It just wasn't working for me. But what replaced it was my favorite accident of the whole experiment. I started keeping the manuscript open on my computer all day, every day. So I'd be working on something else, doing some work, and I'd see what other tasks were open, and I'd say, you know what? Have I written my sentence today? No? How about I do that now? So there was no anchor, there was no trigger, it wasn't on schedule. Just there was this open door instead of an alarm. And it outperformed this famous method by refusing to be a method. And it just minimized the friction it took for me to start writing. The third method was body doubling. And I predicted that body doubling would carry the week and that my sessions with friends would beat the stranger streams, because the presence that can notice you and see your absence or see you not doing what you're supposed to be doing would just be stronger than presence that's just there. And I was half right. Body doubling is where most of my words came from this week. And the sessions I had with my friends were the ones where it forced me to show up. I actually showed up on days that I wasn't expecting to, because I don't cancel on people. If I make plans, I try to stick to them as much as possible. But then my 2 sessions where I was writing alongside another author's stream actually outproduced most of the in-person sessions, even though I was writing with someone who didn't know I existed. So for me, it just goes to show that the focus is what helped most. With this in mind, friends got me to the chair on days that I wouldn't have gotten there, but then an online stream kept me in it for longer. These were two completely different feelings, and I've been treating them as the same one. So it's worth experimenting with for yourself to figure out which one works best for you. The fourth method is rewards. I predicted I would forget to claim my rewards by day 3. I forgot them a day earlier than that. Not the stickers. The stickers I stuck with. But I only claimed 1 out of 5 iced cocos or desserts or whatever in the 10 days. The rest just fizzled. The stickers never stopped working. Every day that small, ridiculous little mark went up on my calendar with some real satisfaction. And there's a difference. The cocoa was a ride. It was a reward. The sticker was a record. It was proof that I showed up, and it was visible where I could see it from where I'm sitting. So I stopped wanting the reward and I kept wanting that proof. But then, plot twist. Getting a bigger reward, a book in my case, needed a minimum of 5 25-minute sprints. I got exactly 5. The 5th one was on day 9. So book earned, tick. And on day 10, I woke up feeling deflated. I hit the minimum. I passed. I'm done. I don't need to do any more. That's it. The goal reward worked a little bit like a magnet until I got to the moment where I reached it. And then it just switched off the motivation it had built up. So day 10 still got a sticker because of my minimum 1-sentence goal. But yeah, aiming for a book just completely poofed all that motivation that I had been building up. So these are the 4 methods graded, and here's what they added up to. Over the 10 days, my manuscript grew by almost 8,000 words, 9,000 something if you include story notes. For scale, in the whole of June, my live streams, my writing experiment, all of that, I wrote 10,660 words. So 10 days of tiny promises nearly beat a whole month full of ambitious ones. And then there's the number this experiment was really about. Writing blocks kept versus those that were ignored. Last month, 0 kept, 20 ignored. In these 10 days, I had 8 scheduled, I kept 5, and I added 1 that was off the books. And on every day where I ignored a block, I still wrote a sentence. So even ignored blocks still meant progress, and that kind of diffused the shame spiral. Even now, after the experiment, I've been sticking to the minimum 1-word sentence and keeping my manuscript open on my computer. So going forward, I'm going to stick with the chart, I'm going to stick with the stickers, co-working sessions are going to stay, the single sentence is going to stay. Everything else, the treats, the books, the rewards, stacking, thresholds, finish lines, no, cut, none of that. What this proved to me is that the methods that ignored my capacity collapsed. The methods that were sized to the season I'm actually currently in lasted. They survived the 10 days. So this wasn't really about discipline in the end. It was about finding a system that fit the moment that I'm in right now. So to recap, last month I made 20 promises the size of my ambition. This month I had 10 promises the size of a sentence, and I kept every single one. This manuscript isn't finished. Life hasn't calmed down. I wish it did, but it hasn't. And the Sunday streams are still happening, but I stopped asking whether I'm disciplined enough and started asking whether the promise fits the day that I'm actually having. And if you missed it, I walk you through the full framework behind this motivation in last week's video, and I've also got the free toolkit linked down below. So tell me in the comments, what's the smallest promise that you could actually keep to yourself this week? Not the impressive one, the smallest one. Mine is still 1 sentence. It's been enough. So happy writing, and I'm going to see you in the next one.